I'm Jim Critchlow. I've got a couple of ideas for those of you in Greek who want to review the basics of biblical Greek, particularly the first 9 chapters. Now, I originally had intended to do this lecture for those who did badly on the initial double review quiz, but I thought I'd broaden it just a little bit. So I'm going to work through the basics of biblical Greek. Now, I'm standing in front of my Greek bookcase, and so I feel like I've got the gravitas to give you a couple of good ideas. Now, as you open up your Greek grammar, page number 8 gives you the alphabet. This is one of those things you can't get any farther in Greek until you've got the alphabet memorized. That's all the way from the beginning to the end, in order, both uses of the sigma. On page 10, the breathing marks and the diphthongs. This is how the language is put together. This is how it functions. So you have to understand how to write it, how to read it, how to speak it. Punctuations and accents is on section 4.1 and 4.2. Each one of these accent marks are very important. Also the punctuation, you just have to be able to recognize it so that you can properly translate when it comes time to do that. The parts of speech on 5.8 and 5 all the way through 5.13. This is on page 25 in the grammar. This explains the English categories that we're going to use every time in class. You have to understand what an adjective is, what a pronoun is, what a noun, and these other parts of speech. Now, this is just a review of English grammar, but without this, you won't understand the Greek grammar. Section 6.3 through 6.7 talks about the use of the noun. Nouns have case endings and stems, genders, and numbers, so be sure you work through this. You understand how the nouns work. On 6.8, we have the first 3 noun rules. These are to be memorized exactly. I've already done this on one quiz. You'll see this a couple more times. I want to make sure you get these noun rules exactly. In 7.8 on page 45, here you have the full chart of case endings. Nominative, genitive, dative, and accusative, singular and plural. The definite article, 7.10. This is an anytime paradigm. That means that it can be asked anytime. Now, the whole point of memorizing an anytime paradigm is it will help you out in your understanding of the Greek. If you recognize all of the definite articles, and they never change, and if they're there, they're very helpful. But it only is helpful if you've got it memorized exactly. If you are struggling now at this point in Greek, then you really need to go back and get the definite article committed to random access memory. On 8.2, there is a little section on the bottom of page 56 about the predicate nominative. This is an easy section to overlook. You don't want to miss the predicate nominative. I make a real point of emphasizing this on examinations. Any verb that acts as an equal sign, primarily the verb in Greek, eimi, to be, ego eimi, su e, estin, he, she, it is. Each one of those act as an equal sign. So the noun, whatever the subject is, will be in the nominative case. And on the other side of the verb, the equal sign, there must be also something in the nominative case. Even though we think in the predicate you're going to have something in the accusative case, that's only for transitive verbs. A transitive verb takes an object, but an eimi verb, an equal sign, takes a predicate nominative. So be sure you understand 8.2. The verb eimi is in the center of page number 59. It is an anytime paradigm. As I've said with the article, you only get mileage out of this if you know it exactly. So be sure in any tense with eimi. Now this is the present tense. We will also learn the future and the past tense of eimi. And so you have to memorize them exactly. They will always be anytime paradigms. On the top of page 61 is this chart showing the prepositions. More important than the chart, even though it's helpful in understanding, make sure you memorize the case that goes with each preposition. Some prepositions only take one case. N always takes the dative. But there are several other prepositions that may take the genitive and the dative, or the genitive, dative, and accusative. So make sure you do your memory work there. The last thing in chapters 1 through 9 that is essential is the top of page 65, the three uses of the adjective: the attributive use, the substantival use, and the predicate use. Make sure you understand how it functions and how to tell the difference between the three. Now, not included in chapters 1 to 9, but other material that you're going to need to know in the future, and I've already marked on page 83, is the full first and second declension case endings. Now, this is not something you have to memorize, but you have to be able to recognize all of these. Particularly third declension will cause troubles if you don't start working on it now. And the other one is pas, upon, on the top of page 86. That also is an anytime paradigm. Not only will it help you with these adjectives in the third declension, but it'll be very helpful when we get to verbs. Now, if you have problems, anything you don't understand about the Greek that I've talked about in class, be sure to send me a text, 603-978-8991. And until then, may God richly bless you, my beloved brethren.